Welcome to the program. The eagerly awaited United Nations Conference on Climate Change in Copenhagen kicks off today. But what is it really about and why is it so important? This report will bring you the answers. We've all seen the catastrophic effects of climate change and are aware of the need to stop it. In the past, global leaders made a commitment to reduce greenhouse gas emissions through agreements known as the Kyoto I and II protocols. However, a series of UN reports has highlighted the need to curb global warming even further, given today's industrial production. As from today, world leaders are meeting in Copenhagen to try and reach a follow-up agreement to Kyoto, which expires in 2012. According to scientists, the global warming average temperature needs to be kept below 2 degrees Celsius. European Commissioner for the Environment Stavros Dimas explained his views on how Europe can lead by example.
We need a global agreement, meaning all countries of the world to participate in an agreement, comprehensive agreement, all sectors of the economies to participate in the reductions, and of course science-based. In order to have such a global agreement, in order to persuade other countries to come forward, we have to keep pressing by our example. An example which has its moral importance, the moral leadership of Europe is important, but also an example by showing that green business is very important for our competitiveness.
Pilar del Castillo reiterated this concern in her capacity as member of the Committee on Industry, Research and Energy.
We think we should take care mostly of how our industry can tackle this phenomenon, which is absolutely worrying for humanity, but taking into account as well that competitivity and the possibility for our industries in Europe to compete in a global world should be also taken into account. One of the things that we can do is just get an agreement in deforestation of tropical forests. One of the things we can do is to get an agreement in aid to the developing countries in order for them to also contribute with such reductions of emission, transfer technology, also financing projects. One of the things we can do, and I think this is extremely important in terms of our industry, is to promote sectorial agreements. The EPP pushing is for find a balance policy in order, on the one hand, to fight against the bad consequences of climate change, so we can really preserve the planet and help to preserve the planet in that sense. At the same time, the EPP is very sensitive that we have to take into account also what is going on in our industry, what is going on in our economies, because it's the future of the citizen of Europe.
The European Union is arguing for strong commitments from all governments to get emissions under control. Europe has agreed to cut its domestic emissions by 20% by 2020, but it is ready to do more if the other major players follow this lead. Responsible Minister for the Climate Change Conference, Connie Hedegaard, emphasised the EU's role.
The EPP and the EU is doing a lot. One could say that so far the European Union is the region in the world who has come forward with the most ambitious targets, and in many respects, EU is showing strong international leadership.
At the same time, Karl-Heinz Florenz, a German MEP and rapporteur for the EPP group in the European Parliament, underlined how Copenhagen could offer a positive way forward for the citizens.
I believe
the EPP has played a very influential role. We want to clarify that the good rules we have decided upon in Europe, such as trade emissions, stringent rules for cars and many other things, should be put into practice worldwide. We should convince Copenhagen and the world of our good results. First of all, we want to prevent climate change from taking on dramatic proportions, which is a serious problem. We want the citizens to save more energy through correct legislation. This is good for the environment and it's good for the conservation of resources, because then there will be more for our children, and it's good for our wallets. We have to achieve these goals. At first it is always a bit difficult, but in the end it is the best way forward for the citizens.
Das ist immer erst einmal ein bisschen unangenehm, aber am Ende ist es ein richtiger und ein guter Weg für die Bürger.
So now we look forward to the conclusions of this historic conference in Copenhagen, which we hope in the long run will help to preserve our planet for us and future generations.